The first time I met Yalara, I thought she was joking. We were both stationed at the outpost on Arathon Prime, a frontier world with forests so vast they seemed to swallow entire mountain ranges. I was an engineer, there to maintain the colony's water systems and power conduits. She was... Well, at first, all I knew was that she was tall, carried herself like a warrior, and had skin with a faint bronze sheen that shimmered under the sun. Her people, the Veari, had been humanity's uneasy allies for less than a decade. She caught me mid-repair, cursing at a busted generator that refused to restart. I had grease smeared across my face, my uniform jacket tied around my waist. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching me. "You have determination, human," she said, her voice smooth but commanding. "But little skill with your own machines." I frowned, wiping sweat from my brow. They don't exactly teach us to fix alien-built junk in engineering school. Her lips curved into a smirk. Perhaps not. Still, I admire persistence. That was the beginning. Banter exchanged in a half-lit room over sparking wires and overheated panels. Over the next weeks, Yalara seemed to appear wherever I worked. Sometimes she helped, her strong hands steadying equipment that weighed twice what I could lift. Other times she simply watched, her golden eyes tracking every motion I made. It was unnerving. One evening after a long day's work, I sat by the colony's perimeter fence, staring at the red-orange sunset that painted the sky. She came again, this time without armor, dressed in flowing fabric that caught the wind like sails. "My family has seen you," she said suddenly. "They approve." I blinked. Approve of what? Her head tilted, as if I were slow to understand. "Of you. As my chosen. My mate." I laughed out loud a bit too harshly. "That's funny." She didn't laugh. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dimming light. "It is no jest, human. My family wishes us to wed." I nearly choked. "Marry you. We barely know each other." Her brows furrowed, confused. "We work side by side. We eat in the same hall. You speak to me with boldness, unafraid. In Veari custom these things show worth. And my family. They have seen in you something rare." I didn't know what to say. Back on Earth, marriages happened after years of dating, introductions, fumbling through awkward moments. Here was this alien woman, declaring as calmly as a weather forecast that we were destined for marriage because her family approved. I tried to brush it off, but that night I couldn't stop thinking about her words. The colony was never quiet. Between the hum of machines, the hiss of water pumps, and the constant tension of living on the border of two empires, silence was a luxury. Yet somehow, when Yalara was near, the noise faded. She was a warrior, yes, but she carried a strange calm with her, a steadiness I found grounding. Her family arrived weeks later. They came in a vessel shaped like a crescent blade, landing on the outskirts of the colony. The governor of Arathon Prime nearly fainted when he realized who they were. Not just any family, but one of the most influential clans among the Veari. They were towering figures, adorned in shimmering cloth and armor etched with history. Their matriarch, Yalara's mother, was a regal woman with the same golden eyes, only sharper, as if they could cut through stone. When they saw me, their expressions shifted. Not disdain, not curiosity, but something heavier. Expectation. Yalara introduced me with no hesitation. "This is Nathan Hale, the human who will be my bonded." I stumbled over my words, heat crawling up my neck. We haven't exactly decided." Her mother silenced me with a raised hand. "You carry yourself with honesty. That is rare. And rare is valued." The conversation spiraled from there. They spoke of traditions, binding ceremonies under the twin moons, vows etched in light. They spoke of alliances, of uniting human resilience with Ve'ari strength. Every word made it clearer. To them, this was not merely about Yalara's choice. It was about politics, legacy, and something larger than me. And yet, when Yalara looked at me, there was no calculation in her gaze. Only sincerity. Later that night, when I confronted her, she spoke softly. "You think this is all duty," she said. "But I would not accept you if I did not want you." I shook my head. "Yalara, you don't even know me." "Not really." She leaned closer, her voice low. "I know you wake before dawn to repair things no one else bothers with. I know you refuse help until you are nearly broken with exhaustion. I know you speak truths, even when others lie for comfort. Do not think me blind, human. I see you." Her words left me speechless. The following days were chaos. The colony buzzed with rumors. Some humans scoffed, others whispered of opportunity. Me. I wrestled with doubt. Marriage. To an alien woman. To Yalara, who towered over me, who could snap a man in half, who spoke of vows as if they were already written in stone. But as days turned to weeks, doubt gave way to something else. Admiration. I watched her train, her body a blur of motion with a blade that shimmered like fire. I watched her kneel beside a wounded colonist, her hands surprisingly gentle as she bound their injuries. I watched her smile, rare, but when it came it lit her whole face. And I realized I wasn't afraid anymore. The conflict. Not everyone approved. A faction of colonists accused me of betraying humanity, of becoming a pawn in alien politics. "You'll sell us out," one man spat. "First it's marriage, next it's our freedom." On the Ve'ari side, some warriors whispered that a human was unworthy of Yalara, that their traditions were being diluted. The tension came to a head when raiders struck the colony, rogue mercenaries who hated both humans and Ve'ari. They breached the outer defenses, overwhelming the guards. Panic rippled through the settlement. I was in the generator room when the alarms blared. By the time I reached the streets, smoke filled the air and civilians scattered in terror. The raiders fired indiscriminately, shouting curses in 3 languages. And then Yalara was there. She moved like lightning, her blade singing through the air. She cut down attackers with terrifying grace, her bronze skin glowing in the firelight. But there were too many. I saw a raider raise his weapon behind her. Without thinking, I charged, tackling him to the ground. His shot went wide. We struggled, fists and elbows, until Yalara's blade ended it. She turned, eyes wide. "You could have been killed." I panted, blood in my mouth, and managed a grin. "Guess that makes us even." The battle raged, but side by side we fought. She with her blade, I with jury-rigged tools turned into weapons. Together, we pushed the raiders back until the colony's reinforcements arrived. When it was over, the streets lay in ruins, but we were alive. And in that moment, with smoke curling around us, I knew my answer. The ending. The ceremony took place beneath the twin moons of Erathon Prime. Humans and Ve'ari gathered together, a mix of uneasy glances and hopeful whispers. The air was thick with incense and the low hum of alien chants. Yalara stood across from me, dressed in ceremonial armor inlaid with silver. I wore the closest thing humans had to formal attire, though next to her radiance I felt plain. The officiant spoke in both languages, weaving vows of unity. Yalara's hand pressed against mine, her grip strong and steady.